Bedazzled had me sold at female devil. I love that concept. The film itself is pretty great, and it seems to be quite well received. The film was released in 2000 and has a score of 6 out of 10 on IMDb, Metascore of 49. And it's a film that I've heard quite a few people say that they enjoyed it. And personally, I thought it was a really interesting concept and pretty well executed. It was directed by Ramis and stars Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley. And Hurley plays our she-devil, if you like. And I'll read the description from IMDb, which I think explains it really well and certainly really whet my appetite. So this says, Elliot Richards, a socially awkward IT worker, is given 7 wishes to get the girl of his dreams when he meets up with the seductive Satan. The catch? His soul. Some of his wishes include being a... No, I'm not going to read what the wishes are, actually. But, he has some very extravagant wishes. You can imagine the kind of things people would wish for. And the synopsis finishes by saying, the devil must put her own little twist on each of his fantasies. So, on the one hand, it's pretty generic in the sense that, it's very Beelzebub, Mephistopheles. I will grant you your wishes in return for your soul. And I think the wishes to begin with are pretty standard, but the fact that the devil puts her own little twist on them makes the way that they unfold really quite exciting and thrilling and a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, what makes this more unique compared to a lot of interpretations of the devil in films like this is the fact that the devil is played by Elizabeth Hurley. Brendan Fraser does a great job as Elliot, very fun, very entertaining to watch, but it's Hurley who steals the show. This is very much a sexy devil, which sounds weird to say out loud, but she is meant to be seductive, she is meant to lure him in, and I guess it's a physical representation of the devil, because the thing about the devil is that he or she is terrifying, but they are so appealing because they're evil. They can lure you in. It's like, the snake with the poison, the snake with the fruit from the Garden of Eden, or Kaa from the Jungle Book. They're evil, but you can't help but approach them, and that's certainly the case with Hurley, and she has some very fascinating costumes. Mostly they're red, they're black, they're dark and seductive, and I'm surprised it's a character people don't cosplay more, to be perfectly honest. I just loved her interpretation of the devil. I love the way the character... I'd say that the character developed, not in the traditional sense of, having a wake-up moment and realising she needs to change her life or anything. But I think the character was really easy to get on board with, and obviously she's very likeable, even though she's the devil. And that's absolutely brilliant. The on-screen chemistry between Hurley and Fraser is enjoyable to watch. It is a treat. It's not the most kind of CGI-heavy film, despite the fact that it's about the devil who obviously lives in the underworld. It could have been. But it's not, and that makes it feel a little bit more realistic and believable. And it's something that I'd happily watch again. I do think the performances are great, the narrative's great, but absolutely at the end of the day, what makes this film work is Elizabeth Hurley is the devil. If they'd got that casting wrong, I do think the entire thing would have just fallen on its face and maybe would have felt like a gimmick almost. But actually it works really well. Interesting premise, very well executed, spot on casting, great performance from Elizabeth Hurley. The costumes, fantastic. I say Elizabeth Hurley's costumes. Sometimes it's a lack of costume that makes this film a favourite for some people, but it's really good. It's one of those films that you have to not take too seriously. It's very good, but if you're looking for, an intricate analysis of what would happen if the devil was a woman, well, the devil might be a woman. I'm not going to, assume anything. But if, the devil came to Earth and kind of behaved like this, what would happen? It's not a scientific study, if you know what I mean, but as a bit of fantasy fun. It's a good comedy, it's enjoyable. I think it's better than I expected, to be perfectly honest, and rated 12, if it sounds like your kind of film, I definitely say you'll like it. It's not one of those films that has something in it for everybody. It is a little bit more niche, but if you like this kind of thing, definitely give Bedazzled a go.